Okay, this is Teach the Children. I'm Ben Brooks, and I'm a disciple of Jesus Christ. And today is episode 33. Episode 33 is for today. And anyway, no, I got it right now. I got everything. We're going to be talking about Teach the Children, and we're going to start as I usually start, and that is in the beginning. And what I'm doing today is going to be using different versions of the Bible for some of the same things that I have already taught in the past. I'm getting hot. And in the past. So let's get started with today's lesson. Again, this is number 33, episode 33. And what I do, this is for teaching purposes only. And the reason I'm doing this is because every day children is born, and every day there's somebody new listening. And every day the same thing that God said in the beginning applies to life today. And what it says about your children, this is teach the children. It says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Now that's the King James Version of it. Now, if you use the New Living, or the New Living Bible, or the New Life Version, then it's going to read a little bit different. And that's what I'm encouraging people to do. Because if you ain't reading the proper version of the Bible, you can very easily get the wrong understanding as to what's going on with the Word of God. Because these different Bibles say a different thing. And it doesn't matter about these Bibles saying a different thing. Jesus said one thing when he was walking this earth, and he did not change what he said. He never added to, he never took from. Whatever he said was permanent, and it's lasting from then until now and through eternity. I just read you from the King James Version. Now this is the King James Version again from Matthew 15 and 10. What I'm trying to do is get people to understand that it is Christ's words that's going to get you from here back to heaven when you die. And it's Christ's words only. Sure, he has some disciples and apostles and some preachers down there preaching his word, but they were preaching exactly what he taught them to preach. So they were his words coming out of his apostles and disciples' mouth. They were his words. And that's what I'm trying to get everybody to understand. Matthew 15 and 10, the King James Version again. And he called the multitude and said unto them, hear and understand. Now he's teaching lessons just like I'm teaching, except he was God in the flesh. He was the one that brought good news, the gospel, to everybody on the face of this earth. And what happened was, he was teaching them disciples and them apostles and everybody that was listening. He was teaching them over and over and over and showing them how to heal the people and how to work miracles. For some reason or another, some of them people wasn't fully understanding what Jesus was saying. Believe you me, there's people listening to me right now that's not understanding what I'm saying. Sure, I'm Ben Brooks and I'm a disciple of Jesus Christ, but did nobody teach me to be a disciple of Jesus Christ? This I had to learn for myself. And it took me a lot of years studying the Bible to learn that everybody's supposed to be a disciple of Jesus Christ if you want to get to heaven when you die. Point blank, that's the way it is. Sure, the devil came to block it. And he's doing a pretty good job of it right now. But he can't block it forever because right now I'm the only person I know of that's teaching this. But I know good and well God's got millions of them out there somewhere. I just don't know where they're at, but I do know they're out there. That much I do know. And that's why Jesus in Matthew, the 15th chapter and the 10th verse, and he called the multitude and said unto them, hear and understand. What I want you to do today is hear what I'm saying and understand what Jesus said when he was walking this earth. And he had prophets before he came down here. And there was a lot of great prophecies made. And I'm going to read you some of them today about what happened way before Christ came. Because the prophecies, a lot of the stuff that's been prophesied have came true already. A whole bunch of it have came true. Now we're going to read from the book of John, the King James Version again, in the 6th chapter. This is the stuff I want you to hear and understand. The book of John, the 6th chapter, the 63rd verse, King James Version. This is what Jesus said. It is the spirit that quickeneth. The flesh profit nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. Understand something? Only his words are spirit and they are life. Every word that he spoke lives forever. They can enter every human being or everything on the face of the earth. His words are spirit and they are life. And this is what I want everybody listening to me to understand. When Jesus says something, you're supposed to teach it and you're supposed to act on it. This is what, when he said hear and understand, I want you to hear today and understand. Now, we're going to go to the King James Version again, the 6th chapter and the 70th verse. I want you to understand what I'm saying today. John 6 and verse 70. Jesus answered them. Jesus answered them, have not I chose you 12? Jesus answered them. They was asking him questions about a lot of different things. Jesus answered them, have not I chose you 12? Did you know there's somebody else claiming to be an apostle that's not in that number that Jesus had on the face of this earth? Did y'all know that? This whole Bible is messed up because somebody trying to be something they ain't. And what happened is the devil is getting in them and they letting him get in them. And they're doing what the devil said instead of doing what Jesus said. Let me read this to you. John 6 and verse 70 one more time. Jesus answered them, have not I chosen you 12, and one of you is a devil? Jesus said that in the King James Version. Now, the New Living Bible and the New Life Version of the Bible will say something just a little bit different. That's why I want you to read more than one translation. Because if you read more than one translation, you can determine within yourself what is the proper word that should be used. That's the only way you're going to get it. You're going to have to determine it within yourself. Because all these different versions and everybody saying the different things, Jesus wasn't doing that. He taught his disciples and his apostles, and everybody was listening to him. Everybody say the same thing. But we ain't got that opportunity today. We got all of these different Bibles to put up with, all of these different versions to put up with. And a lot of them is using stuff that wasn't written by Jesus, wasn't written by now one of his apostles or disciples. They're written by some other guy that claiming to be this and claiming to be that. If you happen to fall up under that, you got your own self in trouble. Jesus said, hear and understand. My words are spirit and they are life. That's what Jesus said. Now, I'm going to go back to one of them former prophets and read you what one of them said. We're going back to the book of Jeremiah, King James Version again, because I like the way it's written in the King James Version. Now, that don't mean everything that's sitting here, everybody got to accept it. Read them other versions, maybe you'll accept it a little bit better than me or a little bit different from me. Maybe you'll interpret it different. But at least start off with the King James Version, no matter where you go. Listen to this. Jeremiah 31:3. The Lord had appeared of old unto me, saying, Yea, I have loved thee with an everlasting love. Therefore, with love and kindness have I drawn thee. You see what I'm saying? Therefore, with love and kindness. Now, this was prophesied years before Christ came. But the thing of it is, the same thing applies then, applies now. If you draw a person, if you keep treating a person with love and kindness and showing them all of the love and the kindness you can show them, no matter how bad they treat you, no matter what they say, some of these days you're going to win them. And with love and kindness will you win them people that don't want to listen to what Jesus said. It takes love and kindness. Now, we had a man long years ago that was a real good preacher, and he preached that violence was not the answer. We all know the man, Martin Luther King. We know him. He had a real good message for the face of this earth, and somebody killed him because of that message. That's just the way it was. With love and kindness, that's the way you have to draw people. Love and kindness with Jesus' words is what you need to do. Now, we go into the book of Matthew, the 28th chapter, verse 18, 19, and 20. Now, I've been reading this verse for a long time, and I have used the King James Version that says one thing, and the New Living Bible that says something else. Now, today, I've got the New Life Version of it. And what I want you to do, read this New Life Version, and then read the King James Version, and then read the New Living Version, and see what you can teach your kid different about these same verses written by different peoples. Like I say, Jesus taught all of his followers, everybody say the same thing. He didn't allow no different versions and all that stuff in his days. But since we got to put up with them at this day and time, so we're going to have to make a decision within ourselves exactly which word we're going to accept as the words of Jesus Christ himself. So here we go, Matthew 28, verse 18, 19, and 20, New Life Version. And it's different from what I've been reading. Jesus came and said unto them, All power has been given to me in heaven and on earth. Go and make followers of all the nations, baptize them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Teach them to do all the things I have told you. And I am with you always, even to the end of the world. You see, it ain't nothing wrong with what I just read. It's okay, you can accept it. But if you read all them other versions to go with it, one of them, you will pick out some words to use that this one didn't say, or vice versa. You will just find a different way to explain it. Because when you start teaching kids, you're supposed to teach them the truth. When you teach somebody like I have been, all of these years I've been going to church and trying to find out how to get to heaven, the people never told Ben Brooks the truth. Nobody has told me the truth. Nobody has told me exactly how to get to heaven. Now, what you going to do when everybody telling you something false and got you practicing something false? We ain't got no excuse for it nowadays. We got too much technology on hand. Only reason people doing it nowadays just rather obey the devil than obey God. That's the only thing that's happening right now. People ain't practicing discipleship. They ain't doing what it takes to be a disciple. People don't even know the truth nowadays. It's a crying shame what's happening right now, folks. It's extremely bad. From the book of John, the 8th chapter, and the 31st verse. And this is the New Life Version again, because it's going to be a little different, because I want you to teach your kids the difference in these different Bibles. This is teaching lesson. This is something you're supposed to teach your children and yourself too if you don't know it. John 8:31. Jesus talking. And he said unto the Jews who believed, if you keep and obey my word, then ye are my follower for sure. You see the little bit of difference in that? He said unto the Jews who believe, if ye keep and obey my word, then ye are my follower for sure. You see, a follower of Jesus is just like a disciple of Jesus. A disciple is one that listens to Christ's words, learns them, and teaches them. Everything you learn it from Jesus because he's our life. His words is our life. John 15:8, New Life Version again. When you give much fruit, this is what's happening here now. John 15:8. When you give much fruit, my Father is honored. This shows you are my disciple. What he's saying now is when you make a whole bunch of disciples, our job is to make disciples. Our job is to make followers for Jesus Christ. People that's going to follow Jesus' word from the time you're born until the time you die. Those are followers of Jesus Christ. Those are disciples. Now, Jesus used the word disciple. So why would you want to change it to something else? There's nothing wrong with using the word follower, or when you give much fruit, that is, make a whole bunch of disciples. You see what I'm saying? But disciples, to me, sounds better than anything else. A disciple, if you're making disciples, you're still making fruits for Jesus Christ. Ain't no doubt about that. But disciples sound more appropriate for me. And like I say, what all these lessons that I'm teaching is for you to teach your children, that is, train up a child in the way he should go. And when he is old, he will not depart from it. Please teach your children these versions, these videos that I'm showing you, because each one of these episodes are using a little bit of different scriptures at a different time and different versions of the Bible. That's all for today. I'll give you another one later. Thank you.